Hey, what is going on everybody? It is Nolan, or the Optimistic Gamer here, and welcome to our Halloween special for 2024. If you've been with the series for a while, you will know that about a year ago at this time, we were right here building this very spooky graveyard. And of course, in the spirit of the season, I have put on a skeleton head to go along with all of it. We are going to be working in this area today. We are building some giant pumpkins. That is different than my original plan of doing a haunted house, but I figured because of the haunted house tutorial that I did not very long ago, I figured we would mix things up a little bit. We will do a haunted house at some point. I would like to continue to develop this whole area as our sort of spooky undead area of our base, but today we are keeping it a little bit more lighthearted and building some giant pumpkins. So I'm gonna go grab some materials and I will meet you right back here. But not before we head into the nether and see some of our zombified piglin friends all dressed up in costume. Looking good, my friend. Of course, we have no shortage of orange wool, but we do need to make some orange concrete. So for that, we will head into our concrete factory, a place that we haven't been in a while, and how fitting that we have some rain showers. Maybe we will even get a strike of lightning. And we're not going to build just one pumpkin today, we are going to build multiple. There will be one large pumpkin that we will actually be able to furnish the inside of and turn it into a sort of house, I guess. And then we will have many smaller pumpkins around and sort of have a fully developed pumpkin patch, if that's what we want to call it. I'm just going over here to grab some haste from our beacon. That way we can speed up this process just a little bit more. Although I really don't think haste affected it at all. It seemed to be going the same speed after we ran out. And we have some undead mobs outside coming up to the window to see what we are working on in here. We do need to be careful of creepers if they wander inside. We don't have a front door on this building, and we should have everything that we need to begin. I do want to actually build this large pumpkin sort of into the hillside here and leave some of the natural geography kind of flowing around it, as if the pumpkin has been here for a very long time, long enough that the dirt has kind of been windswept around this pumpkin and it is almost completely buried. I think that would look really, really cool next to our graveyard. Plus, I don't really want this giant orange pumpkin kind of sticking out like a sore thumb here in the valley, because it is going to be very bright and vibrant. So I do want to mute it just a little bit with some of the natural terrain. We are going to start with the base and then just kind of work our way up, and then we will go back and add in a few details, and we will even carve this pumpkin at the end of today's episode. So let's begin with the base. I think what we will do is just kind of build the base going around and then carve the dirt out once we feel pretty good about the shape of this. I did already build a test version of this in creative. I think it is going to work really well for our purposes today. So again, let's begin. Let's kind of center this here, I think, with our graveyard, or maybe even have it offset a little bit, that way we can see the carved face. And of course, the pumpkin will sort of concave out a little bit, so we want to go a few blocks in for the base of this. 5 blocks wide right here, just like that, and then we're going to go out 5 blocks again. I think what we're going to do is build the top to bottom frame, or bottom to top in this case, of it first, and then we will go layer by layer and work our way around in a circle. That way we can get a sense of where we need to carve out the land. So it's going to go out like this, and then it will go out again and up by 2 blocks, and then out one more time. And this is why I wanted to do this, because this might be a little too far forward, close to our graveyard here, but we will step back and see once it is finished. It might be okay. And then we are going to work our way back, and this is where we should start to see the pumpkin shape of this really take place. So that will go across the top, just like that. And now when we fly down here to the side, we have a pretty good pumpkin shape happening. You know, I think I might even want it a little bit more into the land right there. Again, that sticks out a lot more than I thought it would. So we're going to move this back maybe 3 blocks so that that front edge is more of right here. So I think we might even go back 1 more additional block just to be safe. And then, again, we will try this pattern 1 more time. Yes, that is a little bit better, I think. Again, you can't really see the bottom right here, but that won't really matter in the grand scheme of things because, again, this will go all the way around. We will get a sense of that shape. And even if we remove these corners, you will be able to see it a little bit better. Those sort of make it a little blocky, but now when we step back, I guess it's not a huge difference, but you get the idea. So we will continue this pattern going back down on this side, just like that. And then we will have this going around all the way as a pumpkin does. Although I'm not 100% sure of the length here at the top, so we're actually going to remove those blocks for now. We will come back to that later on. I think to make things easiest for us, we will start here in the very center of this and make this circle, and then we will do the rest of them going around the build. So this just follows a pretty standard. This is going to be 5, 2, 2, and then 2 going in this direction, and then 2 more, and then 2 more. This whole row, though, is 3 blocks tall, 1 on top, 1 on bottom, and then the middle one, which we are working on. So we can go ahead and extend that up by 1 more layer right here, which means right here we will also have some more orange concrete carved out of the ground. And this is why I wanted to do this whole shape first, because then we don't have to remove dirt unnecessarily and try to fill in the hillside when we go back. So I think we will start with just this quadrant right here, this upper corner from that side to this side, and then we will go from there. So we'll extend this over, and it's going to be the same thing. This one is going to be set in 1 block from the previous layer, but we will remove those corners and extend it up by 1 more. And here on this row, it's going to be 5 blocks long, just like that. And then again, we're just going to raise that up by 1 more. And this time we're actually going to skip that corner. It's going to help things to look a little bit more rounded. And now we can actually go through and connect up top because we know where this aligns, and we know that that's going to be 1, and then this one will be 2, and then that one will go across the top like that. We will remove these corners, and I know this might not be making a whole lot of sense right now, but trust me, once this is finished, it's going to look great. It doesn't really look like much of anything at the moment, but that's okay. We are getting there. The next row up, again, it's just going to be 1 block in from the previous row, and we're just going to kind of trace along this edge here. So something like this, and then this row right here is actually 2 blocks in depth, I guess, is what we could call that. And then we have this diagonal shape that we're going to fill in right there to make that a little bit more rounded and make the top a little bit more rounded as well. So something like this, and now if we fly away, I hope this looks good. Well, you know, we have a few more sides to get to until it really looks like a pumpkin, and once we get the stem on there, it will really sell the look. So I'm going to repeat this here on this quadrant, and then we'll work on the backside and the bottom of this. And we have a undead mob that has wandered out of our graveyard and is now coming to attack us. We will fight back and defend our ground. So we now have half of an upper section of a pumpkin, so a quarter of the pumpkin fully finished, and I'm trying to get to a good angle here. That is how that is looking. Once we do the bottom here in the front, we'll really be able to see that shape, and we will go in and add a bit more detail, a few lines, things like that. It should really help with the overall look. We do need to extend this row down by one more. This is the outermost layer in the middle that goes all the way around. So that looks just like this, and now we will go in and work on the bottom layers. Or actually, let's go up here to the top and finish off the backside real quick, since we are getting pretty close with this. So we're just gonna go all the way around one more time on this upper row, and we have run out of orange concrete. That's okay, we have plenty more orange dye and sand and gravel. Alright, back with more, so we should be able to finish up this pumpkin now. So we have that second to top layer, and now we can fill in the very top as well. And we have this sort of rounded shape here at the top. It isn't a perfect circle. Of course, there are no perfect circles. It's not perfectly round, but it gets the job done. And now we will just extend a few of these lower layers going around. And this is where we should see that look of the pumpkin being built into the ground really start to come into play. So something that looks like this, of course from the backside you can't really tell much of it, but when we fly around to the front, again, we are still pending that bottom section, but now it's really starting to take its shape. So let's do some of these lower layers. They just follow the same pattern as the upper ones, just kind of set in one block each time we go down a row. And I think we're gonna want to get some torches put in here just until we get to the end of the episode, and then we will do something a little bit more special. There we go, now we are really getting that pumpkin shape. I'm kind of second guessing the ground here in the front. I think we should leave, caught in the spider web right there. I think we may want to leave a little bit more clearance in the front, although I don't think that is actually all that bad. We get a pretty good amount of detail from the pumpkin. So let's start working on some additional details. Really all that entails is the stem up here at the top and some lines going down the sides made out of orange wool. That's just going to give a little more shape, depth, character to this build. So these are going to go down the long sides here at the very ends. Again, just replacing that orange concrete with orange wool. Nothing too fancy or complex, just a very basic pattern here on each side. But we're going to start to see some of those lines in the pumpkins, and it looks like it has those little divots that actual pumpkins do have. Now, we probably could have gone the other way with this. We could have done the orange wool as the main body of the pumpkin and then have the darker orange concrete for the lines to really sell the depth, but I was just so happy with the orange concrete, the color of it. I think that was the best color in my opinion. It was the most vibrant and vivid, and that is what I wanted for our pumpkins here. So we're gonna have a few more lines that go off on the sides here, and we will sort of have 2.5, I guess. We will have a full one that goes in that direction, a full one in that direction, and then one that kind of goes down the center right here. So we're starting with our orange wool, and then we have this L shape right here, and then a few more diagonals going across. So there's a lot of orange wool to begin with, but again, it all kind of spreads out. So that continues in that direction, that one continues in that direction, and then this in the middle. And now you can start to see that branch out. So these ones also sort of follow the curvature of the pumpkin as it goes down. So we will have orange wool right there and there. Alright, take this back. I'm realizing that I built this sort of wrong. So we are instead going to have orange wool here and here. And then this is going to stay the same, but this orange wool will move one block over, and it will instead be on that row right there. So again, it kind of goes out a little bit as it works its way down, and then it is going to just replace this one on this side. We're not going to see anything past that. On this front side, though, we will notice that it goes down a little bit farther. So again, that 2 orange wool right there. And then we have 2 right here, 1 and 2, and then these 3 concrete blocks are all getting replaced with orange wool. As for the middle, we really are only replacing these blocks that are exposed, so that one and that one right there, because we don't want to add any additional blocks, say, right here, that make the pumpkin less rounded. And then right down here, once again, we're just going to replace that concrete with our orange wool. So that's going to give us a few lines. We'll fill that in for now. We may replace it. And then we need to get a couple of wool blocks right there. But now, if we step back from this, we'll have to fly up here. Now we're getting that pumpkin shape a little bit more. It's kind of hard to see at night, but once the sun comes back up, it will really look its pumpkin part. So I'm going to fill in the rest of those lines and meet you right back here. And as we finish up this pumpkin during the daylight, we hopefully should be able to see those lines better. We have had a second rainstorm move in, so a very wet Halloween it has been for us so far. But now, again, if we fly away, and there's the thunderstorm that we all know and love. How about that? Right on cue. Maybe we will even get a thunder strike, a lightning strike on our pumpkin. Although not on the wool. We don't need all of our hard work burning down right now. We may get one up here on the copper house though, with all of the lightning rods that we have put into place. I turned my head for 2 seconds and it may have happened. I do want to kind of stay focused on this until we get a lightning strike. I may just cut out the silent portions as we wait. Of course, we can always just take out our trident, which has, our tools shulker box is not where it is supposed to be. It should be in the storage house. There it is. We can take out our trident that has channeling on it, and we can throw this at a mob. How fitting would it be to throw this at a villager today and turn it into a witch? Of course, we want to do it far away from our current farm right here, which this is good, no pun intended, right there. But we can have this villager right here go ahead and stop in its place and throw this trident at it. And we now have a witch for Halloween. How fun is that? We're gonna go ahead and attack it though before we get poisoned, and it's a little bit too late. That's okay, I just thought it would be a little bit fun to do something festive like that. And what are the odds that we get a thunderstorm that rolls in during our Halloween special? And that poison is really taking a toll on us. We only have it for 10 more seconds though. But regardless of the dangers of working out here during a thunderstorm, I just think it is quite fitting. So we are going to continue regardless of the probably unnecessary risk. We need some brown wool for the stem, although on second thought, we may actually opt for spruce or maybe even dark oak. That was close. We may even opt for dark oak. It has a little bit more of a muted look, but we don't have a whole lot of it. We really don't have much spruce either. Maybe just oak? Okay, I guess we don't really have any logs, so we will use brown wool in that case. Locally sourced from our sheep farm, and a skeleton right over here checking out our new pumpkin. Again, all very fitting for the holiday. So right up here, we're gonna have our stem. This is gonna be 2 blocks tall in this plus pattern, and then it's going to stick out right here and start to bend in this direction just a little bit. Again, a couple more blocks tall right there, and we are just going to make this flow quite a bit, and then one more here at the top. And now if we fly onto our dead oak tree over here, we have a pretty good looking stem, and that I think is our best view of the pumpkin that we have had so far today. Just being nice and up close, but we really get that shape. And I really don't think we need to carve out underneath it all that much. I think this gives us enough to work with. But now I just want to make a few smaller pumpkins to sprinkle around this big one and really sell the whole pumpkin patch look. So that is what we are going to do. We're going to start with one right here. Again, this one is going to be a small one. We're not really going to be able to carve it or do anything like that with it. Just something for some additional looks. So this is going to be 4 blocks tall in total, and then we will have the stem up above, just a few brown wool blocks for that. Again, it might not be a bad idea to get a torch placed down inside of there, and our brown wool for the stem. We'll just do an L shape like that. Let's step away from this again as the lightning continues to strike, and I think if we fly up, this will give us a great look at how our whole pumpkin patch is starting to develop. Yeah, I really like that. So we're going to do a couple more of those mini pumpkins. We will even do a few of our regular Minecraft pumpkins, and then we're going to carve this big one right here, and then that is where we will end the episode. And I think we will just continue to use our trident, being very careful of some of the fire. We don't need any disasters to break out on Halloween. And I think we will do some really small ones here in the corner, perhaps something like this. And then just a basic plus shape right here with one more on top like that. And we could even do a flower pot or something on there for that stem. And then I don't know how this is going to look, but we are going to do an even numbered pumpkin right here, just a 2x2 for the base. And the great thing about pumpkins is none of them are always perfectly symmetrical. Sometimes you have tall pumpkins, fat pumpkins, short, skinny, all different types. So we are trying to have some variety here as well. That one's a little unusual, but hey, every pumpkin patch has its one unusual pumpkin in it. And now we're just gonna go grab some normal pumpkins and fill in the rest of the space with some of those. You know what? I am actually reminded, this thunderstorm reminds me of last Halloween when we were waiting very, very patiently for a very long time to get a thunderstorm so that we could throw our trident at a creeper and make a charged creeper. I missed on that one. But make a charged creeper, there we go, to get a mob head or some skulls for our farm, or not our farm, our graveyard, and we might as well do the same thing again. Oh no. That was not supposed to happen at all. You know what it was? I forgot we did not have our helmet on, and we did not have our chest plate on. That was kind of disastrous, so we need to get back to our stuff, and hopefully we can get there before lightning strikes it. That would be a tragedy. Here is the giant charged creeper hole. We will get some of our loot back. We did lose a lot of levels there. We were up to the 90s, but that's okay. A few minutes. Hey, we did get a zombie head. We might even put that on. A few minutes at our XP farm will get us right back to where we were. We seem to have dropped more loot. Oh yes, our armor. That would explain why. I think we will put our helmet on to be safe. The price that we pay for a zombie head, and of course, our pickaxe, one of our most important items. Alright, I think that is everything. We will have to come back here and fill that in at another time. But that's enough thunderstorm for one Halloween. We're gonna sleep the rest of this one off. We are gonna take 31 pumpkins with us, along with a few torches to make some jack-o'-lanterns. And I also just realized, apparently this whole time we had spruce and oak in our inventory. So we might even use a couple of those up here. I think we'll go with the oak for some stems. This one, again, is a little unusual. We have that even number, but I think we can make it work like that, maybe? I don't know. I don't really like that. Not a huge fan. We will leave that one stemless. The rest of them, I guess this one we could put an oak log on if it's not too large, but again, I think it might be. We'll just leave them with brown wool. I'm pretty happy with that look. So now our final step, well, I guess we need to place down some of these normal pumpkins here and there. We're just gonna surround all of them with these smaller ones. Make it really look like a whole pumpkin patch here on the hillside. And then we'll go through and carve a few of them. I don't know if we will actually make these into jack-o'-lanterns. That way we have that way we don't lose any of the darkness that we have in the environment here. So there we go. All of those have been carved now. And I think we are good to start our final pumpkin carving, which is going to be the face of this pumpkin right here. So we're going to start here in the middle with a nose, and then we will have a couple blocks right here. The only issue with having this the way it is it kind of throws off my whole carving the way I planned this in creative. So we may actually remove a little bit of this dirt around here and finish the bottom of the pumpkin on this front side. So we'll do something even as simple as that, and there we go. Now we really have that pumpkin look. So I guess that is what we were missing that whole time, just those bottom two rows. So now we can go in, we're gonna carve out the mouth, which is going to be a couple blocks below the nose. And actually our mouth, we're gonna have some teeth on this pumpkin, but the entire mouth, we'll go back and fill those in later on. That one is actually fine to stay there, but this is going to be kind of up. It's going to go across right here, and then it is going to work its way up in this direction right here, and that wool is going to be taken out. I think we're going to have to go in and remove some of this dirt first. That way we can really see how this will look from the outside. And I guess now might be a good time to just go ahead and hollow out this entire pumpkin and finish it off on the inside. So we could pretend that all of this grass and dirt are the guts, and we need to remove those in order to finish carving. Alright, the inside is pretty hollowed out. There's still a little bit more work to be done on finishing the inner part of the pumpkin, but I will do that off camera because I just really want to get this finished up. So now it's a little bit easier to see the mouth being carved out. We are going to do that same pattern right over here. So we are going to remove that wool and that concrete as well. And then we are going to place two more orange concrete there, and that will give us our finished mouth. When we step back, I think that got messed up. Yes, there should be an orange concrete right there. But now if we step back from this, we will get a pretty good view of the mouth. And now all we have left are the two eyes, which of course we will opt for the iconic triangle eyes once we can make our way up there. So we will do one carved out right here, and then go to the other side, carve out another one right there. That will give us a pretty good triangle look. And now, when we step back, I should get some firework rockets and we can fly away. When we fly away from this and turn around, and let's get to a better angle right here. There we go, there's our pumpkin looking happy as ever. We have one final thing that we need to do before we can call this complete, and that is to put a candle on the inside. Now obviously we could just go with a standard candle, but that wouldn't provide very much light. We wouldn't really be able to see it from the outside. So what we are going to do instead is take a campfire, which we need to craft. There we go. And we need some white terracotta as well. And now we can fly back into this thing. We may have a monster or two depending on how well that torch worked, but it looks like it did its job. And we can replace that torch with a plus shape of our terracotta. We will build this up a few blocks on the inside. There we go, and a campfire in the middle. Now when we fly away, we can't really see it during the daytime. We will wait for it to get dark, go stand out here in the field, maybe place some scaffolding or something, and then we will see the full look of the pumpkin. It is about high noon right now, so I'm gonna clean up the area a little bit, maybe replace some of this grass in right here that we removed, and get some stone replaced with grass as well, and then I will meet you out in that field once the sun goes down. And we are back here with the sun setting behind the hillside. The reason I really wanted to wait until night is because we will see our pumpkin face all lit up from the inside with that candle. We can kind of see the candle, and I know normally it's not a full candlestick inside of a carved pumpkin, but I think for the scale, it works quite nicely. With our graveyard in the foreground, our pumpkin patch in the middle ground, and our copper house up there looking sort of spooky in the background, I think this turned out really great for us. I really hope you enjoyed today's Halloween special. We will work on the interior of that pumpkin in the coming weeks. That is the great thing about them. They are good until at least Thanksgiving, so they will still be in season for a few more weeks. In the meantime, if you enjoyed today's episode, definitely hit that thumbs up button and make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on daily content as soon as I publish it. Check the description for some more important information, links, how to contact me, all of that good stuff. And with all of that being said, comment, like, subscribe, remember to stay optimistic, have a spooky and safe Halloween, and I will see all of you tomorrow, November 1st. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Bye!